Welcome to this webinar on Digital Validator from GIEOM. I'm John Santosh, the founder CEO of GIEOM Business Solutions. And thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend this session today with me. As some of you may know, GIEOM has been in business from 2012 as a technology product company that has built solutions to increase the employee efficiency and way of working in a bank. We are a financial services focused company. We got over the years, a lot of recognition has come from us from our way from various organizations. In the 4-year journey, we started with the GIEOM Blueprint, which is still our flagship product. Then we added Policy Builder, Digital Controls, and now this financial year, we added Digital Validator. Today's session is focused on Digital Validator. If you look at the type of customers we have got 48 customers, too short of getting the 50 mark, spread across different parts of the world. India is a big market for us with 14 customers, Africa with around 22. We opened our US market this year and started slowly entering into Europe. The validator as a product, that took its birth by a co-development with one of the leading private sector banks in India. The problem statement was, it takes a lot of time to ensure that the customer onboarding happens, and there are errors while you're onboarding a customer. We built it with the help of that bank, and the product was launched a couple of months back, and it went up to NASSCOM and won the League of 10 of NASSCOM. NASSCOM being the India's IT body, it recognizes 10 companies every year as the true innovators and tech products of the year, and we appear to be in that list this year. Now let's take the problem statement here. Any financial institution, whether in India or abroad, there is a lot of money being spent on customer onboarding. Here is a data point from Thomson Reuters. Around $48 million is spent in a year on the customer onboarding part of the business for a bank which has got 2 million accounts or 500 branches with the Indian context. There's a level of error that happens while you're doing this. And the data says around 30% is related to human errors. If you take one of the banks which we worked on, it takes around 26 days to onboard a customer if it is a small and medium enterprise or a business customer. They have around 200 people to validate whether the data which they're collecting the customer is the correct data or not, is it been complete or not. Then there are around 300 people coming in and saying, am I not keying it into the right system in the right way? So there's a lot of work happening in this area. We believe GIEOM Validator can reduce the error rate by around 40%, which straight away brings around $6 million into the bottom line. Let's look at how the onboarding happens in different banks. We are seeing 3 different scenarios in which this is happening. One is a tablet-based onboarding of the customer. The relationship manager of the bank goes into the customer's office or their place of work and try and collect all the details, use the tablet app to key it into the system, and the system takes over from there and the account is opened. Here, a lot of keying in is done by the relationship manager. Second is the conventional approach, which is still very predominant in our country, and I'm sure it is the case with many, many countries, where a paper-based form is filled, and that form with its supporting documents are taken to the branch and scanned and sent to the back office. Third is you allow the customer to come online and fill an electronic form, upload the documents, and somebody at the back end picks it up and does the necessary work, and an account is opened. These are 3 ways we are seeing in the banks we are interacting. Let's look at the first scenario, which is the tablet-based. Bringing to the specific Supreme Court order that you cannot use Aadhaar at this stage to onboard. How do you address that situation here? In the onboarding, first thing is you're collecting various documents to understand who the person is. So let's take the OSV, or original seen and verified. RBI, the Indian regulator, allows you to take certain documents as a document for account opening. And it is mandating that your officer, the employee of the bank, is going through a manual process, by which they're seeing the original and verifying it. So the responsibility is kept at that point of the process. So once the RM goes and takes the tablet, we will embed our GIOM validator into the existing tablet app of the bank. So the first step would be to, when you open up the tab, it will pop up and say, what are the documents needed for account opening in this particular type of account? If I say an individual account, what are the type of documents needed, or what are the allowed documents? The next step is you take a picture of that, and that picture, if you take a picture of the PAN card in this example, we have trained our engine to understand how a PAN card should look like. If the person takes a ration card instead of PAN card, system will reject it then and there, saying that what I expected or what I'm trained as a system using the machine learning algorithm, that it doesn't look like a PAN card. Once it passes that test, it goes into the thing and it does an OCR on that. So the data comes out of the system and it pre-populates the fields in the tablet app without the user keying in anything. Likewise, if I take a copy of the passport, I'll get the address line from passport, I'll get the name from the PAN card, I'll get the date of birth from the third driving license. I'll be able to fill a lot of data which otherwise the user would have keyed in. The relationship manager could have keyed in, is now getting autofill, and you're ensuring that the OSP role of the country, the original seen and verified, is maintained, and at the same time, a copy of the document is kept in the server for future use. Now we take the second scenario. This is the case where the customer coming online and filling up a form. This particular use case, we are now addressing a non-resident Indian account opening scenario in the US market. US, the people are spread across the country. Today, if you want to open an account, you need to download a account opening form from the bank's website, fill it up, attach the required document, and send it to the local branch in New York. New York sends it to India, and the account opening happens. It takes time. Solution we are putting it in is on the bank's digital form where you go and create an account. We are putting a QR code. This QR code, if the customer scans this QR code, it pops up, it opens up a URL in the mobile phone. It's a PW app, so that way there is no need to download an app or anything. That QR code is opening up a URL and it opens up in the browser. It then asks you to take a picture of the document, a passport or a US visa, the things that you need to for account opening. We can train each of these documents in our system, and that will get auto-populated into the form on the right. So what we are addressing is the old hassle of customer filling up the form, customer sending us a copy of the documents, all are cut out from a physical process to an electronic digital process. Let me come to the third scenario, which is the paper-based account opening, which is also quite popular in the country. So here, the relationship manager in the bank walks into the customer's office with a bunch of forms, which they sit across the table, fill it up, collect data from the customer, collect supporting documents, bring it to the branch, and in the branch scanner, you already have a workflow system running. There's already something happening over there. So we are not suggesting changing anything that is happening. We are an added value addition solution to ensure that your efficiency of onboarding or customer onboarding is improved. Now, what happens here? You scan it, it gets passed on to our engine. When it comes to our engine, we will know if a mandatory field is not filled in a paper form, which you can not check in any other form because the paper-based, there's no system to check mandatory filled or not filled. Once it is passed on to our engine, we check whether there's a mandatory field filled or not filled. If it is not filled, we will reject that form then and there. It will not go to the back office. Likewise, we take copies of the passport, copies of the supporting documents, whatever is needed, and it again check the same thing. Is it the right document or not? If it is the right document, it does the OCR on it and it pre-populates the data over there. Now, what does our study say? We have figured out that 20% of a typical account opening form in any bank, this is quite a number of banks we looked at, 20% of the form can be filled by the data you have in your supporting documents. My name, my address, my date of birth, my maybe one or two more data points, I'll get it from my supporting documents. So let's look at a form like this. A typical account opening form, you will see a lot of things that is coming from the supporting documents. And there are a few things that are tick marks. So I'm not promising here that we are reading the handwriting here, which is a because it's very difficult for technology to come and say, I'll read it 100% right. What technology can do is it can read 100% right the data from a supporting document. So with 20% of I can the data I have from the supporting, and the tick marks in the paper form is very easy to read compared to the handwriting. So I'm getting 100% accuracy on the tick marks. I'm getting 100% accuracy on the name and the other details of the supporting documents. So it brings up to the point saying that 36% of a typical account opening form can be filled using this method. So we went into the details of this 56% and realized this 56% is most of the times is good enough to open an account. The rest of the 44% are related to risk, marketing, things like that, which can be filled even after an account is. So we are able to increase straight processing for account opening in this approach. Now let's go into the system and see how this all these things work. So let me log into the system now. Digital validator, paper-based technology backend. So the workflow system is operational in the bank. The scan has happened. I'm showing you one of the system. This is an entry which I got in the system. There is one customer case here, Himanshu. So this is the type of form we got from the scanner. So any form that is in the scanner is coming into my engine, and we are able to cut. If there is a mandatory field not filled, it comes under one bucket here. So here, these are the mandatory fields not filled. So while you're doing a scan, within the seconds of putting the paper on the scanner, we will be able to show this to the user saying that in the form that you scan, these many mandatory fields are not filled. Once it is complete, there is nothing coming under this category, the branch manager at the branch level will get to see what are the activities, what are the line items in the form that are mandatory and filled. The importance of this one is I'll be able to see if the data provided under the mandatory section is complete or not. Now, after that is done, you will have the supporting documents coming in saying that these are the documents which are put in here. So these documents, if the same way we took in the mobile phone, in the scanner also, system will first check, is this a PAN card or not? Is this an Aadhaar card or not? Is this a passport or not? Once that check is done, we go into the second part of it, that is do a OCR on that and pick up every information from the supporting documents. Once you do that, here is a staging area. We will be able to auto-populate. Remember the 20 and the 36%. So the 20% that you can bring from the supporting documents will be auto-populated onto this staging area. Likewise, you see the purple buttons over there, clicks over there. Those are the tick marks that we had in the form. So these two things come together and say that you are able to now complete a form to around 56%, and then as the data is taken out of the system, you can do an RPA to go and check from a registry which is available in the country, like a NSDL for PAN and things like that, to check whether these are the right documents or not. So to large extent, the 56% which somebody would have keyed in, somebody would have manually checked whether it is there or not, has been automated largely, which reduces the error at source and also the time taken to onboard a customer. It is very close to saying that with the paper form, I can quickly onboard and give a account opening kit, because the data we get on the paper form is good enough to open an account, and the rest of the 44% can be filled later. So we are a product which is built over a period of 1.5 to 2 years, that is using a good level of machine learning, a greater amount of OCR, and it's all come together to address a specific use case, that is the customer onboarding and the related areas of how do I ensure the right documents are collected, the OCR is done, and the efficiency of ensuring that it's all coming together for a faster account opening. While we do this, let's do a live demo. Now I'm going to take a picture of the PAN card now. So let's take the picture of the PAN card. So once you take a picture, so to remember this, that this is not a separate application. This is an application that can be embedded into your existing tablet app where you are doing a whatever we are doing using Aadhaar. Now you can do it using the system. We just take a picture of the PAN card and it's been uploaded into the server, and it is now doing the first check, that is the check around whether this is a PAN card or not. And the data has been populated onto the screen. So now the tablet app has populated my name, my PAN card number, and the date of birth. So this is the way we can get now tuned it to. I showed you how it works in the PAN situation, but it is the way you can train this engine to any document which you would like to. So the system is capable of learning and training. So the tools capability, I'm not giving you one thing saying that here is a PAN train. I'm telling you here is an engine that you can train what you want to train on. We will give you certain things out of the box, but you have the ability to train much more with the type of data you need to train in your country or in your business.